Now, our next guest lost his leg in 2004, but that didn't stop him from taking up running. In 2008, he set a world record for the fastest marathon on crutches, and now Simon Baker is aiming to run the Dublin Marathon with less than 10 months training. And if that wasn't enough, he's hoping to find Ireland's first amputee runner in time for the Paralympics in 2016. Simon, along with his conditioning coach, Jason Kenny, join us in studio now. Welcome back, Simon. You were with us before when you were doing that mad dash.
Thanks for having us in.
Not at all. Good to have you back. So how are you? In good form?
Yeah, very good now. Yeah, very good. Nervous, but I have a good team behind me. It's for all the other challenges what we took on were mental, whereas this time it's kind of we're almost hitting into sort of like professional sports sort of
in the time span and the amount of commitment. What is the challenge again? Just remind people.
The challenge was for us could we put a team together of specialists in 9 months to compete in this year's Dublin Marathon, be one of the first amputees to register a time, but what we've actually done is we've put a time limit on ourselves of under 3.5 hours.
Wow, okay, that's pretty good.
But the long-term project is for us is if we can do this, then we can hopefully, if it's a success, we can then turn around and say, well, look, what can we do in 4 years for a young amputee? And, you know, it's trying to encourage amputees and running within Ireland. Excellent. When you look across with the Paralympics coming up, you know, most countries have centre of excellence and all that, and I'd love to see running encouraged in Ireland, you know.
All right, now tell me a little bit about stage one and what is an apparatus? Is that what we call it?
It's a blade.
A blade,
It's
okay.
a running blade.
All right, like the South African runner.
Yeah. I mean, the first stage of the project was first really to convince Jason to come on board with me, which he's done. He made the mistake one day of telling me anything you need, anything I can do.
All right.
And since then I've had him walk from Dublin to Limerick and now this project. This, as I say, is a professional. So then I had to go, you know, obviously I have no money to fund this sort of project.
Yeah.
So what I did then is just get in touch with IDS Otterblock in Kappa to see if they'd sponsor us the leg. And then it was down to Jason then to put together a professional team and hopefully with his contacts within the university to get them on board for the sports science. But I mean, Jason will be able to tell you more about that side.
Excellent. Just before he does, getting that limb fitted and actually running again, how emotional was that for you, or how difficult was that for you the first few times?
Well, the first day I got it, I was like a child with a new toy. And to be honest, I was very emotional. And even the first time we ran, Jason got me to the stage where we ran in the Joey Hanlon Memorial in the University of Limerick. And then we did the Great Limerick Run. That was a really emotional time for me because I think it was actually emotional. I remember Jason saying to me, I feel like a father looking to, because that's how we've become very close. But if I did it again, I wouldn't have the legs so quick. Right. Because I was too quick to get out. Lucky enough I had Jason to hold me back, because you've got to remember I was never a runner. And I mean, like as I say with this project, but when I first got the leg, I didn't even walk properly.
Right.
So now all of a sudden we're asking me to run. So we're asking one part of my body that's wasn't strong enough. So, and the biggest problem is if we pull a hamstring or if we do any damage, tear the muscles, that's the project gone out the window.
Absolutely. And you've come so far with this project now, and it's only a matter of weeks now away to the Dublin City Marathon.
We have, but as I say, I mean, we've a brilliant team. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it. If I'd have gone off and bought this leg on my own, and with no team, the next thing is the leg would be slung underneath the cupboard stairs, and I'd be laid up on the couch injured. Yeah, so, you know, I mean, I have a sports injury masseur, Orla Smith, and she's with me. You know, she does 2 hours of work a week with me and stuff like that, you know. And then, as I say, from the university, the facilities, sports science department and everything is fantastic.
Let's bring Jason in on this then. I mean, you know, in the sense that he's now a full-time athlete building up for the marathon, the plan has come together nicely. How long and difficult a road has it been? And how good an athlete is he at this point in terms of doing what he's told? And you know, it's easy for someone who is committed to maybe fall off the wagon a little bit, to maybe sort of say, well, I'll do something I shouldn't do, or I'll miss a day's training. What's he like in that regard?
He can be a bit bold at times, all right, but to be fair to him, he's very, very committed. To be honest, I know Simon from the walk we did that time, and one or two other little things, and I know he was committed to it. I suppose if it was somebody else and it was a new kind of a project, because it's all new for so many of us involved, this is kind of new, kind of almost like a science project in itself. trying to get someone in such a short period of time to almost like 100 miles an hour and turn him into an elite athlete. Simon would have been a gym goer and things like that, but the problem was we had to take literally his whole body and start getting it to reshape. What happened was, because as you know yourself, if you have an injury, you'll have a tendency to lean to the other side to compensate, and Simon would have done that. So it was even a case of just getting him, he's standing at a bus stop, to say, no, you need to start leaning on try to balance on the prosthetic leg as well now, so start shifting the body over. He was picking up small little tiny little injuries in his back, his lower back, again because the back muscles were offset and so on and so forth. But because of the fact that we got the likes of the University of Limerick involved, the likes of Alan Ward and so on, we put together a kind of multidisciplinary team. I knew that it was a project that I couldn't really take on my own. You're all the time kind of guessing, all the time looking to at a client and saying, well, yeah, you're waiting for feedback and hoping that the feedback that you're getting is kind of relevant, and then you adapt the exercises for that. But with the biomechanics department and the physiology departments down there, they were able to isolate exact areas. So it was either reconfirming what I was doing was correct, or was telling me that I needed to work on something extra as well. So it was a big plus to have all this together. And in terms of things like mileage, you know, most marathon runners, when they're gearing up, they'll do a couple of short runs during the week, do a long one at the weekend, because that's the way most people just train, because of work commitments and other commitments during the week. Is yours similar now? See, the problem is you see, every 6 weeks there's changes in the body shape, as Jason said, the posture and everything. I mean, I can feel it totally different, even in my everyday prosthesis now, where I've got stronger. I mean, my leg used to be turned out like that. They've turned the leg in now. Excellent. I walk different. So every time the slightest movement, we have to readjust. The next thing is we have to have recasting. Otterbock, IDS and Kappa have been fantastic because they're there. And I can't afford to wait for the leg. I need it done there and then. So they have to kind of drop everything and come on board. That's the professionalism in it, like. But I mean, for me, I get friction burns. Like people that get blisters on their feet. That 2 weeks ago, I took the skin off my shins, and you know, it knocks me back mentally, because mentally you're sort of going, you know, there's a lot of pressure. Not for me, it's to let the team down. You know, for everybody that's come on board. Of course. So when you take, I took the skin off the shins. I couldn't wear my everyday leg for 2 weeks. Then, you know, I had no things. And because this is a silicone liner, you sweat like mad. It'd be the same like having the next thing is you're getting movement, so that this has to fit 100%. Again now, I mean, I've made this 3 times. I'm going back again this afternoon to have another casting done. Why did you set the target so high? Can I ask just to wrap it into 3.5 hours? Why not just for this one, just to maybe get round? Because when I looked into, with the Paralympics coming up, I wanted to see if I wanted to looking in for Irish runners. Put you in there. And to see what was going on, and I couldn't find any Irish amputee runners. And you know, I mean, they've a great team going over in the Paralympics. I'd love to see an amputee runner in the athletics. I don't see, and I believe out in Ireland, and I see up in the clinic, when I'm up in the clinic and I see kids, you know, I'm looking long term, you know, but I see some of the young kids and they're coming in there, and you know, to me that's the next Blade Runner. That's the next. Can these guys get in touch with you? They can get in touch for us through IDS. They can get in touch with us through our Out on a Limb website. You might put the link up for us, and you know, I mean, it's just all I'm trying to do. I'm not advocate. I'm just trying to push for. And show it can be done. And hopefully get somebody there. Yeah, and you've got to come outside. You know, I mean, you don't look, if you're an amputee and you're sitting there. I mean, I got into sport because I was depressed. And to be honest with you, you don't have to go and run a marathon. You don't have to walk from Dublin to Limerick on crutches. You can just get out and get involved. And that's what I'm trying. And then small steps, small goals, and before you know it, you're reaching big goals, big targets. Well, look, congratulations and every success in the future. Come back to us near the Dublin City Marathon. Let us know the train has been gone and the project is gone. Thanks a million. And keep in touch with us in the build-up to the next Paralympics in 2016. Thanks a million. Thanks to Ireland M for having us. Not at all. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. We're going to take a little break. We'll see you back here for the third and final hour of Ireland AM in a few minutes' time.